Mobile gaming. When you hear these two words, one of two things will probably come to mind. You'll either have a nostalgia trip of classic games from the good old days that you spent hours playing as a kid, or you'll remember the more oversimplistic and ad-ridden side that are really nothing more than cheap cash grabs that plague the modern industry. No matter if one or both or neither of these things come to mind, you'll soon learn how far the mobile gaming industry has come over this past decade and how freaking hard it's fallen off past the mid-2010s. So let's start at the beginning, shall we? Just like PC gaming had simple origins with Space War and Pong being known as the earliest games on the platform, mobile gaming was even simpler, with Tetris being the first game made for the Hack-a-Nook brick phone in 1993, and started gaining traction in 1997 when Snake was released for the Nokia.
Damn, that looks cool. Yo, phones could do that back then?
With the introduction of WAP, the wireless application protocol, multiplayer games like Connect 4 and Tic-Tac-Toe were playable on simple wireless connections. And with colorized phones becoming more widespread in 2003, even big names like EA was interested in the potential of this new industry, and within the next year published Asphalt GT from Gameloft, a company that you can call an OG, and during its prime released many games that pushed the limits of mobile gaming. So Nokias and Blackberries were great and all, but the age of dial-up and brick phones are numbered. Technology must evolve at some point. And evolve it did. 2007 had a revolutionary breakthrough for mobile phones in general, with the Jobs introduction of the iPhone, which gives you an insane amount of features all crammed into your pocket, and the ability to use these features anytime, anywhere. It was truly novel. With iPhones came the App Store in 2008, with a convenient and reliable platform for developers to sell their games, no strings attached, and for millions of customers to download and play these games with ease. And soon, other phone companies ditched their models in favor of the new smartphone, where eventually only Android remained as a contender, and the Windows Phone, but not really. In December 2009, Rovio dropped Angry Birds. You know it, you played it, and it was a certified hood classic. Angry Birds is one of the first and most prominent game that brought the model of simple, fun, free, and most importantly addictive. Now don't get me wrong, it's not surprising that a majority of mobile games are designed to be replayed many times, being as accessible as they are. These games being free meant devs need to make a buck somehow, and the occasional ad never hurt the experience. In fact, they were the least invasive way for devs to make a profit back then. Now, 2010 to 2014 was a golden age for most everything, and mobile gaming was sure as hell no exception. Subway Surfers, Temple Run, Plants vs Zombies, Clash of Clans, Jetpack Joyride, Fruit Ninja, Respawnables, Pixel Gun, OG Pocket Edition, and that's only off the top of my head. Oh, and of course, Farmville and Candy Crush for the Facebook moms out there. Actually, wouldn't Minion Rush be the perfect Facebook mom game? Whatever. Like Angry Birds, these games were all simple enough in gameplay, but were extremely creative in execution, which made people come back for more. They were either free or had a light version, making them more accessible for the millions of hungry mobile players. With the booming popularity of mobile games, more companies wanted a slice of that extra juicy pie. And eventually in late 2014 and 2015, genres that were native to PC like FPS and MOBAs started to become mainstream on the platform. Games like Modern Combat 5, Vainglory, and Critical Ops emerged with very obvious inspiration from COD, League, and CSGO respectively. And while companies like Gameloft were already big on drawing inspiration from bigger titles, write that down! Like GTA and Red Dead Redemption for example, all of these games were executed pretty nicely. Their gameplay was solid, they ran fairly well, and for what was available at the time, the graphics were actually pretty good. They weren't like PS4 quality or something, but some games definitely hit that PS3 quality at least. Shout out to Vainglory. But hey, we were getting somewhere. Honestly though, the fact that all of this could run on my Samsung tablet blew my brain to the moon. And since mobile devices could even run these games, a huge assortment of possibilities opened up for how far mobile games could really go. Of course, this whole taking inspiration from bigger games business only became a bigger problem down the line. Usually with games that blow up exponentially like Fortnite and PUBG back in 2017. Which, funnily enough, encouraged devs to create mobile-friendly ports of their games to reach this new audience, with many other popular IPs following suit like COD, League, and most recently Apex. Unfortunately, all the industry's success during the mid-2010s also brought about increasingly predatory business practices and an apocalypse. Now here's a terrifying word: microtransactions. I know, calm down, I said calm down! Now, to be fair, even games like Talk and Pixel Gun were guilty of this back then. But as time went on and mobile games became bigger grinds, a lot of them will incentivize you to pay for premium currency or to instantly build out a mocha statue that would have taken a week otherwise. Yes, microtransactions are everywhere in everything, and for some games they're for purely cosmetic purposes, which is perfectly fine, unless we're talking about any sort of loot box or RNG model. But some games will pester you to buy bundles or more energy to play the damn game, or even worse, lock things like strong items or weapons behind paywalls. This becomes an even bigger issue for those addicted to these games, cause I see stories about these games seriously hurting their mental and financial stability, and marriages too. Yes, it gets that bad. And from what I've seen, these urges to play or drop huge amounts of cash comes from a desire to become stronger in the game, or the dreaded FOMO, also known as the fear of missing out, and it's a huge contributor to why some people feel held on a tight leash playing these games, knowing damn well they shouldn't be. The gacha game genre is easily the worst offender of this problem, with the main way to obtain items or characters being through RNG summons that are often limited time. Upgrading these items requires an insane grind, with many gachas also using the energy system to slow down your progress. So by design, you either grind like mad or throw your money at the game to get that limited time character that you want, who you have no idea when they'll come back if you don't get them. It's a whale's paradise. This monetization tactic is usually just pure pay-to-win bullshit, and I hate throwing that term around, but that is what it is. The worst thing is seeing older games go down this path like Pixel Gun, which just kept adding more ways to monetize through more OP weapons and armor, and pets, and gadgets, and currencies, with the only options being to either grind hard, try your luck with more loot boxes, or cough up some cash, boy. Other, mostly PvE games, instead have stages that start out easy enough, but the farther you get, the steeper the grind becomes before you do next to zero damage and die from a feather touching you. Naturally, newer games are following these models, looking at you. There's a lot of discussion about what games are actually pay to win or not, but if I pay money for a skin and it gives me a stat boost, I don't care how minuscule the boost is or if it's a PvE game or not. It's just not right. And defending that will only validate these practices in the company's eyes and make them think that there's no issue with this if the masses want it. Again, since most mobile games are free, they need to make a buck somehow. Though microtransactions should stay cosmetic only. I shouldn't need to gamble my money away for a cool skin or weapon. And if we're being real, loot boxes are just an outdated money-making method that are still way too common in mobile games, which sucks. Speaking of Raid, I can guarantee my left nut you've seen hundreds of ads and sponsorships of this game.
Today's video is brought to you by...
This video is sponsored by...
Brought to you by...
I can't file for divorce just yet. I'm playing
Raid Shadow Legends.
If you've been on YouTube recently, chances are you've heard of Raid Shadow Legends.
Raid has raided YouTube hard over the past year, but you may not know that this is not the first time where a shitty mobile game would be advertised everywhere with the power of memes. In 2016, Game of War Fire Age blew up after they launched an ad featuring the Legend 27 that became a surprisingly big meme. Looking back, I don't know why people found it funny. It was a fake player they made up that could no-diff entire armies and yeet boulders as if they were tennis balls.
Boom.
Wait, actually that's pretty cool. In early 2019, Mafia City poked its ugly head with ads that I remember pretty vividly. They were mostly just shitty animated ads about level 1 crooks becoming level 100 bosses in the dumbest possible ways, if only grinding was so easy. Oh, and can't forget the "that's how Mafia works." No, that's not how Mafia works. This is your game. It's just a shittier Clash of Clans, man. It's pretty common for game ads to not show actual gameplay, and this isn't exclusive to mobile games. Game of War had many of these fake ads and only a few commercials, while besides the ad that they gave to sponsors, raid ads were all commercials. And know what? I'll admit, I enjoyed these.
See a lot of unresolved rage there.
Yeah, I'm working on it.
Well, most.
Ow, dude, my mouse hand.
If I didn't know what I'd be getting myself into, I probably would have checked the game out. So I guess Raid wins in that department. The scary thing is, these are probably the better example of shitty mobile ads. No, this is the vast majority of mobile ads. What the hell? Yeah, most ads are just complete nonsense, mostly just aiming to force a tap from you somehow, either with a weird caption saying if you can do this, you're legally a pumpkin, or by purposely playing it wrong so you feel like you gotta download it to show them how it's done. I will admit though, some of these ads are funny as hell, which now that I think about it, it's probably another way to get you to tap that download now button. Does this ever work? Nah. And you can easily skip these ads. It's more annoying than anything. But the real problem comes with the abundance of these ads. Usually shitty games will spam these shitty ads, where if actually downloaded, that shitty game starts spamming shitty ads. It's a damn rabbit hole. With there being so many of these low quality games being spammed, it created possibly the worst genre in the entirety of gaming that took the mobile industry by storm. The hyper-casual genre. Now, hyper-casual games are usually free, extremely easy to play, and have very minimalistic graphics, allowing them to be made in a matter of weeks or even days for cheap. This genre became popularized by companies like Quali, Ketchup, and Voodoo. Being so incredibly easy to pick up, these games are perfect for short sessions if you're bored or if you start feeling that Taco Bell. On one hand, hyper-casual games being cheap to create can make them a good stepping stone for those that want to learn game development. But on the other hand, they can be the easiest possible cash grabs to make using ads that appear when you do literally anything, and microtransactions for completely useless items. You should understand that there's a fine line between casual and hyper-casual. Casual games are also very easy to pick up, but may offer things like power-ups or increasing difficulty like moving faster over time, or through puzzles and connecting your brain cells. Whereas your dog Max could figure out how to play a hyper-casual game with his eyes closed. Basically, take any soul or depth from a casual game and it becomes hyper-casual.
Damn, boy!
I hate to say it, but hyper-casual games can work, and they work well.
It should have been me!
They can be a great way to pass the time if you're bored during class, but I'd rather just pick up Subway Surfers or PvZ2 or Soul Knight. You seriously gotta play Soul Knight. Some hyper-casual games can be fun, but most are just complete mindless garbage, and I'm sad to see how common these types of games are in the App Store now. So what's it looking like for mobile games now and in the future? Well, thankfully you can always pick up one of the classics for hours of playtime. Games like Vainglory or Pixagon are either dead or in a state where I wouldn't recommend picking up. And I'm sure the hyper-casual genre is here to stay, but there are still some mobile games past 2015 that are definitely worth picking up if you want a genuinely good mobile experience. Soul Knight. The mobile gaming industry has come a long way, reaching millions upon millions of players every day. Whether or not mobile gaming will return to its former glory is uncertain, but honestly, I'm grateful for every second of playing these bomb-ass games. Thanks for watching. Hit that like, that sub, all that, and I'll catch you later.